She pulled her hand away so casually I almost believed it was an accident. Almost. We were crossing the street, nothing dramatic, nothing worth remembering, yet the moment her fingers slipped from mine, something cold slid beneath my ribs. A faint tremor, a warning. The kind you feel before a storm, not after. She didn't look at me. Not even a sideways glance. Her eyes were glued to her phone, the screen lighting her face with a glow I used to think belonged to me. "Just tired," she muttered. Tired of what? She didn't say. Tired of me? She didn't need to. She typed something quickly, too quickly for exhaustion, and tilted the phone away from my line of sight. A small move, a practiced one. And in that fraction of a second, I saw it, her mouth softening, the corner lifting in a way she no longer smiled at me. Not tired, not at all. I asked nothing. Silence has always been my weapon when she assumed it was my weakness. Later that night, as she slept with her back turned to me, another habit she'd perfected, I heard her phone buzz under her pillow. A tiny vibration. A quiet confession. I didn't touch it. But something in me cracked open, slow and sharp, like a door I had ignored finally swinging wide into darkness. And I stepped through. The next morning she said she had a lot on her mind. She didn't elaborate. She didn't need to. Her distance had become routine, an emotional drought she disguised as fatigue, stress, overflowing responsibilities. All carefully chosen words that looked innocent until you lined them up and studied the pattern. But patterns reveal truths. The real moment came quietly, almost beautifully in its cruelty. She left her laptop open on the dining table while she went to shower. A rare mistake. Maybe she was too comfortable, too careless, too sure of my trust. I walked past it, then paused. A notification bloomed on the corner of the screen like a bruise spreading under the skin. A name I didn't recognize, a message preview I wasn't meant to see. Last night. I can still feel it. My mouth went dry. My knees didn't buckle. Shock didn't crush me the way movies teach it should. I simply stood there, cold, still, listening to the water running upstairs while another man's words pulsed on my wife's screen. I didn't click, didn't open anything. Knowing she was lying was enough. Knowing she had chosen someone else was enough. But the part that carved me deepest was realizing she still expected me to be the man who trusted her unconditionally. When she came downstairs, towel wrapped around her hair, she smiled faintly. "Morning," she said. I nodded. "Morning." I stirred my coffee, she stirred hers. And between us, a void widened, quiet and lethal. Inside me, a resolve began taking shape, cold, methodical. I wouldn't accuse her. I would confirm her. I began with small steps, soft observations. Her late-night bathroom trips aligned too perfectly with the glow beneath the door. Her sudden interest in evening walks despite hating the cold. Her phone always on silent, always face down, always with her, even in the kitchen, where she used to leave it charging unattended. I didn't follow her. I didn't snoop. People reveal themselves without needing to be chased. I created space, letting her believe I was distracted, consumed by work. I began coming home a little later, leaving earlier. She didn't complain. She didn't even ask. Her freedom was my evidence. The next piece came from the phone bill, a log of repeated calls and messages to a number saved under a name so bland, so uninteresting, so intentionally forgettable that it screamed guilt. Work project. She didn't work late. She didn't have a project. The timeline was too consistent, too intimate, too deliberately tucked between moments she claimed she was exhausted or overwhelmed. My calm was frightening, even to me. I watched her laugh at her screen in the kitchen. I watched her turn away from me on the couch. I watched her guard a device she used to hand me freely. The truth grew itself. All I had to do was observe. One night, her phone buzzed as she stepped into the balcony. She thought the sliding door would muffle her voice. She whispered, she giggled, a sound I hadn't heard from her in months, a sound she had buried when she looked at me. My fingers tightened around the armrest, but my expression didn't move. I let her finish her call. I let her come back inside. I let her lie to my face about the friend from work. Every detail was a thread, and by then I had the whole rope. The final proof arrived in the simplest way, by chance, or maybe by fate. She left her phone unlocked on the table for 5 seconds. 5 seconds was enough. A message popped up, the same name, the same lie. But this time I saw the line in full. I miss your hands. When can I have them again? The room stopped. The world stopped. My pulse didn't. She stepped into the room at that exact moment, freezing when she saw me looking down at her screen. Her face drained, her lips parted, her breath caught. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask a question. I simply turned the screen toward her and placed it gently on the table. Her eyes filled instantly, not with shame, but with fear of consequences she had never prepared for. Listen, it's not what. I lifted a hand, a quiet gesture, a command. She choked on silence. Inside, something hardened into certainty. Outside, I remained the calmest version of myself. I know, I said finally. 2 words, sharp, clean, surgical. Her knees wobbled as she sat down, covering her mouth with trembling fingers. I can explain, she whispered. I don't need you to. I placed a folder on the table, printed phone logs, timelines, screenshots I'd collected without touching her devices. Her eyes widened with every page. You knew? She breathed. I nodded once. Since the day you stopped holding my hand. She broke, terrified, crushed, cornered by a truth she could no longer twist. I made mistakes, she sobbed. We can fix. We won't. The calm in my voice cut deeper than anger ever could. Her hands shook violently. Mine were steady. I stood, walked to the door, and opened it. You can go to him now, I said. You already left me long before today. She collapsed into a breathless, panicked plea, reaching for me like a drowning woman reaching for a shore she'd abandoned. I stepped back. Her fingers touched nothing. I didn't yell. I didn't curse her name. I didn't demand explanations that would only insult my intelligence. I simply walked away from a fire she started and thought I'd burn in. There was no satisfaction in watching her crumble, only clarity. She didn't lose me today. She lost me the moment she chose someone else and expected me to never notice. I left the house quietly, the cool air hitting my face like a final answer I'd been avoiding. For the first time in months, my hands didn't shake. My steps were steady. My chest was light. My mind was sharp and terrifyingly silent. Truth does that. It frees you in ways love never could. As the door closed behind me, I realized something simple. She ended us. I finished it. And I didn't look back. Not even once.